Okay, our next honoree from North Catholic High School, Matt Comey. Matt's from Port Richmond. He excelled in soccer and basketball. And if you know some of the fields down there, to excel down there, you got to be really, really tough. He was a two-time All-Catholic first team. His team won the Philadelphia Catholic League Championship over Bonner. He played for one of our Hall of Famers, Jerry Brindisi. Jerry said this about Matt. He was the heart and soul of our team, and he was like having a coach out on the field. Matt also was a two-time All-Catholic in basketball first team. He's the #2 all-time leading scorer in the history of North Catholic basketball, which is not some small feat, with 1,227 points. In 1993, he was the Northern Division MVP, where he received the Callahan Sportsmanship Award from the basketball officials. He received the National Champions Award from the Police Athletic League. In '93, he was the North Catholic Male Athlete of the Year, the North Catholic Man of the Year, and he was inducted into the North Catholic, or has been inducted into the North Catholic Soccer Hall of Fame. At LaSalle, he was a 4-year starter for Pat Carroll, also a North Catholic grad. He was team captain. He was a Soccer 7 All-Star, which is the Big Five, Drexel and Textile or Phila U, which they were then. He was a Soccer 7 champion. And in basketball, at a Division I institute, he was a preferred walk-on. When soccer was over, he was allowed to come out for the team. He had a career in the juvenile justice system, along working with the Department of Recreation. He transitioned to real estate. He's a realtor in Pennsylvania, New Jersey. He's a property manager, and he presently owns a breakfast lunch operation in Port Richmond. His wife, Kim, and his son, Jake, are with us. I present to you from North Catholic, Matt Comey.
Yeah, thank you very much. Well, I get to go behind Pat Ryan. Not only that, he also stole my nickname, so that's, not gonna do about that. Good thing is, though, Matt, Atlanta Falcons, North Catholic Falcons. My son's in the 7th year of Penn Charter, so we're good. Thank you all so very much. What a classy event this is. Thanks to Bill and everyone involved here. I really appreciate it. Fran Doherty, Ernie Gallagher, got to see Fran on the way in, Larry Connie. Fran and Ernie both notified me back, and I want to say January, that I was getting in, which was a real pleasant surprise, and I was really happy to hear that. Dennis Hill, rest in peace, Dennis. He actually reached out maybe back in September, and he had gotten sick, so I hadn't heard. I didn't know what it was about, actually. He just said, "You're going to the Hall of Fame." Didn't know what it was, and then sure enough, earlier in the year, Franny and Ernie both reached out, which was great to hear from those guys. I'm so thankful and happy about that. Bobby Wheeler was another. He was inducted a few years ago. Bobby's a North Catholic, class of '67 grad. Rest in peace to Bob. He actually was the coach of that PAL National Championship team back in high school, so he brought me along, North Catholic connection. And I just want to congratulate all the other inductees here. Coach Fox, rest in peace, Coach Fox. I know Brendan, it was great, great honor to your father, and Brian's over there. I played ball against those guys as I got a little older when they were coming out of school, and what a class act he was, whether it was in victory or defeat, same demeanor, always dressed really sharp, and there was that huge, North Catholic father-judge rivalry back then, and again, always just had that about him, and I enjoyed seeing him over the years when I was competing against his sons, in the summer leagues and the recreation centers and such. Also, Katie Gardner, grew up watching Katie play. She was a few years ahead of me. We were honored a few times back then in awards when she was graduating college and I was graduating high school, and got to play a little bit against her husband Chris back then, and what a class act she is as well. And just was a really big fan of both you guys actually growing up. Special thanks to my friend Chuck McCluskey over there. Matt mentioned his name. I met Chuck back in 2018 when our boys go to Penn Charter together. So they've been in there, they're both in their 7th year of Penn Charter. Chuck, for nominating me for this special honor. Thank you so much. It's greatly appreciated. And Jim O'Connor, his name has come up. Jim O'Connor suddenly passed this time last year, and thankful for him as well. I was at a St. Joe's basketball game. My son, Jim, myself, my son, and my good friend Joe Harvey, who I played ball with growing up, and I found out not long after that Jim had passed suddenly. So rest in peace to Jim. You were much appreciated. You had a lot to do with North Catholic, as many people had already said, in the neighborhoods. Fishtown, Port Richmond, Kensington was so impactful in so many lives. So thank you so much to Jim for all those years of doing that. This leads me to my wife, Kim. She's actually my high school sweetheart. For more than 33 years, she's been so kind, patient, supportive, hardworking, amazing wife and mother to our son, and my son, Jake, for taking everything in stride each day, working so very hard to be the best version of himself each day. When John Zerker from Penn Charter had asked my wife and I back circa 2016, 2017, when we were looking at Penn Charter, he had said to me, why Penn Charter, And for me, my wife and I, our grade schools had since closed along with North Catholic, so essentially 2010, 2011, and so on. So we were looking for that, and I just said to John immediately, my son to start his own legacy, and why not Penn Charter? They've been there since 1689, and what an amazing school, and we're very thankful for that as well. My parents, Jack and Cheryl, for just leading by example. The love, hard work, and discipline you guys provided to all of us for all these years. My older brothers, I'm one of 6. I fall as number 5, and 5, 6 o'clock in the morning, they were delivering newspapers, the Morning Inquirer. That was our task. That was the first part of the day for us growing up. So hence, the hard work, discipline, we kind of just all fell in line. And as the older brothers were getting older, my sister and my younger brother and I partnered with them, and then we ended up taking over their routes, and that was kind of our routine. And then on weekends, right from the paper route to the rec center to play ball, play basketball, soccer, whatever it was. My siblings, they're all here tonight. Jack's the oldest. Jack had a lot of success. Looked up to all of my siblings. Jack played soccer and basketball at North Catholic, and then went on to St. Joe's. He's actually in their Hall of Fame for soccer. My brother Kevin followed him a year later. He played soccer and basketball and baseball at North Catholic, and then on to Holy Family, where he was inducted into their Hall of Fame last year. Tim followed Jack to St. Joe's a year after that, and he played basketball and soccer at North Catholic, and then followed Jack and played soccer at St. Joe. My sister Colleen was a two-sport softball and soccer player at Little Flower High School. Followed Kevin, the Holy Family, and then my brother Dennis was soccer and basketball at North Catholic, and then went and played basketball at Widener. So with those guys pushing me and looking up to them, and it was kind of sort of you fell in line, right? So I'm a few years behind the older brothers, and 1 year behind my sister, with Dennis right behind me. My other brother here, Kevin McGarry, he grew up in our house, was the first one there. Saturday and Sunday, every weekend, pushing us to get better. My brother Dennis and I playing ball and all that good stuff. Full court roughhouse was the game. That's what we played. And then he was my teammate the first time. We played a lot of pickup ball, as you can imagine, with all of us. We always had 3-on-3s, and then Kevin would always be there. And then the first time he was my teammate when I played against my father. The first time I beat my dad was with Kevin. We beat my younger brother and my dad. So needless to say, that was a rough day for them and for us. But my dad took the ball, punted it, down the road, actually on to Jenny McCook, Jen Ricco's house. Punt the ball on her roof, and Kevin and I had to walk home about 2 miles, and that was it. That was the story. All this kind of sort of led to places like the Palestra, and if you know the Palestra, you know what I'm talking about. Someone once asked me, I grew up in Kensington with a large family, which is kind of par for the course, But someone once asked me, were you ever bullied growing up in Kensington? And my immediate reply was no. I had a big sister, so I was always good. We were always good. Back to my North Catholic days, I was the first recipient of the Paul Hondros Scholarship for basketball. And I just hope I represented himself and the school with honor. It was such a great tribute, and I feel like I'm just glad that I had that opportunity, and that I hope I lived up to that for Mr. Hondros and the coaches that gave me that opportunity. Thank you to Brother Jim Williams is here. Brother was my freshman basketball coach, Father Judge guy, and then was at North for a period of time coaching freshman ball and the high school varsity. Thanks so much, brother, along with all my other coaches, on the high school level for soccer and basketball. My teammates as well. Without them, obviously none of this is possible. And then I shared an award with my younger brother Dennis. I received the Most Valuable Player Award as a senior, which was an amazing honor. And then the following year, my younger brother received the same award, which, again, I'm not sure if that's ever happened before, but that was amazing to see him receive that. And the Dick Callahan Award, which was talked about, was one of the bigger accomplishments. My brother Kevin received that in 1987, and then myself in 93, and Dennis in 94. That was given by the referees for sportsmanship and not talking much. But the over-under, I think, they're all half of the size of degenerates. And I know there's an over-under on my speech, how long I'm going to be, but I'm trying to not go too far over. The Father-Judge rivalry, I touched on that a little bit. Going in the North, that was always a big deal for basketball. Just like the soccer rivalry with Archbishop Ryan. We had some great times, some great battles over the years. And then I have to thank Coach Pat Farrell at LaSalle. I had a facial injury my senior year with a few games to go. I broke the right side of my face with a head ball. And I'm not sure where things were going to go, but Pat Farrell stuck with me and offered me a soccer scholarship to LaSalle. And then I reached out to, at the time, Speedy Morris, of course, was coaching, and Joe Mahalik was an assistant. And I had mentioned to those guys at the all-Catholic banquet, hey, thinking about coming to LaSalle for soccer, is there an opportunity maybe for basketball? And with open arms, they said, hey, listen, as soon as the soccer season is over, you just come and join the team. And I would always be appreciative of that, because growing up as a young 6th, 7th, 8th grader, one of my main goals was I wanted to play in the Big Five, or have an opportunity, and also the Philadelphia Soccer Set, because I had two brothers in that moment playing in that. So I was able to do that because of my soccer coach and my basketball coaches at LaSalle. Life after college, sports. Got to compete against some of the folks I had mentioned, some of the younger folks, and some of Chris and guys like that. So happy to see your families doing so well, and your boys, as they see, and your daughters doing well on television and in the newspapers and such. But also, it's a shout out to my nephew, Jack. He just accepted a scholarship to play soccer at UMass next year. So that's a really big accomplishment, coming out of Bishop Curley in Maryland. And then my nephew, Timmy, is a St. Joe's Prep Junior, and he was receiving his ring for his ring mass tonight. So I'm not sure if they were able to make it or not, but congratulations to him. And all my other nieces and nephews that are here in family, thank you so much. And I'm so proud of every one of you. I appreciate you guys being here. My other good buddy, John Fokker, is here. Good luck to him on his upcoming MCATs. He's getting ready to take his MCATs, so good luck to you, John. And then just in closing, I've been so fortunate and blessed to be around so many impactful and inspirational people. So thank you all for contributing to my journey. Thank you so much.